E-tourism. E-business requires a customer-centric view and a shift away from mass production to mass customization and from selling to relationship building. In this lecture, we'll talk about e-business in tourism and how and the importance of e-business in tourism for the economy and advancement technology, reducing costs, ease of access, rising consumer expectation, overcame fears regarding security. E-business models in tourism. People and companies are continually making decisions about adaptation of new products or services or individual methods. Both people and companies are making adaptation decisions based on the estimation of the trade of between the cost of adaptation and the perceived or foreseen benefits that the new service, product, or method could yield in everyday life or business. Adaptation cost includes not only financial cost but also change in production processes and extra time investment, at least at the beginning of the implementation of the innovation. Nevertheless, people or companies evaluate the trade-off between benefits and costs in different ways. In the case of persons, the typical adaptation decision is a binary choices, yes or no, based on the degree of resistance, attraction to the innovation under consideration. The ICT adaptation by tourism sector provides a wonderful example of this phenomena. From a more theoretical perspective, Rogers 2003 describes 5 perceived attributes as the most relevant in the trade-off process of adaptation, relative advantage in comparison to the current services or products that the innovation substitute, compatibility, the degree of consistency with the existing value, past experience and need of potential adopters, complexity or difficulty to understand and use, triability, or the possibility to experience the innovation on a limited basis, and observability, or the degree of visibility of the innovation by other members of the adaptation population. As an example, a person could decide to adopt mobile Facebook for either social or practical reasons. From the social point of view, its popularity would be the possibility to be in touch with friends. Everybody has a profile on Facebook. From the practical point of view, there would be the availability of real-time updated information about events nearby. Generally speaking, adaptation drivers can either be social or practical ones, or even a mix of both. Using Rogers' perceived attributes, those that seem central in this case are observability and relative advantage. In the case of companies' decisions about adaptation are not just binary but much more complex. Adaptation decisions by organization range from awareness of an innovation and the pressure of the number of competitors that have already adopted to successful infusion of the innovation in the workflow. Innovation infusion also refers to the inclusion of the new services, products or methods in the existing production process, which generates cost not only in re-engineering of routine procedures but also in the training of the staff. A successful innovation for a company includes its successful infusion within the company. Therefore, the perceived compatibility and low level of complexity are important in the case of ICT adaptation by a firm. Besides the reason for adaptation, also the timing of adaptation is a relevant aspect of innovation diffusion. Timing describes the moment of adaptation for two different levels of adopters. Individuals, entities, persons or companies, or the aggregate level. At the individual entities level, person or companies, there is a link between the timing and the propensity of adoption. Some entities with high propensity towards the innovation will adopt it as soon as the innovation is available. Others with lower propensity and higher parsimony adopt a wait-and-see strategy and will adopt later. Finally, some entities will adopt at the end of the innovation cycle, showing much lower propensity than the later one. And still others showing no propensity at all will never adopt an innovation. More concretely, some person will have adopted Facebook almost as soon the mobile version was made available. They are really enthusiastic innovators or pioneers. Others will have adopted later. For example, when the number of real-life friends having already joined Facebook justifies its adaptation, and still some other would never adopt Facebook and prefer, for example, Instagram instead. Finally, some other could decide to give up Facebook adaptation without any substitution to not having a social media account at all. At the aggregate level, timing is represented by time series which count, on the one hand, the number of the percentage of the potential adopters who adopted at a given moment, namely absolute adopters at each period of time, and on the other hand, the number of percentage of adopters that have already adopted at each period of time. The time origin of the time series in the moment of the first adaptation. The shape of this time series has a typical bell or S-shaped form called a diffusion curve. Typical questions that diffusion curves can enlighten include: what is the percentage of the world population that has already adopted the mobile version of Facebook? What is the rate of growth of Facebook adoption in comparison with the same period in the previous year? Richer information may be gleaned from the analysis of diffusion curves using statistical methods, such as technological forecasting models. These methods shed light on two aspects, timing and driver, in the adoption of innovation. This chapter addresses the following question. It is possible to grasp information about the main drivers of adaptation, or at least to estimate the relative importance among them on the basis of aggregate diffusion data. Is there a general time pattern evolution describing different innovation adaptation processes? In other words, is there a general curve that describes the diffusion of any technology? Which is the size of final market? For example, the final percentage of adopters in a given population. In other words, what is the size in percentage term of the population of the class selling? How long will it take to reach final market penetration? And how long will it take to reach half of the final adopters market? How long will it take for a particular innovation to take off? Up to what moment of innovation should adopters be considered as enthusiastic innovators? Besides enthusiastic innovators, it is possible to find other homogeneous clusters of adopters, such as early, late adopters, majorities, and largers. For a given innovation, are there any difference across tourist sector in their adoption dynamics? Adoption of information and communication technology (ICTs) is considered as a barrier to equal opportunities to commercial activities. People and business without access to the internet and related technology are incapable of benefiting from e-services provided and could be gradually driven out of competition from global markets. In fact, ICTs have contributed to the massive growth of tourism and the increased volume of supply and demand. ICTs have been therefore emerged as a term describing the entire range of application of ICTs on tourism industry. Tour operators, travel agencies, hotel enterprises, car rental companies, cruise companies can benefit from the advantage of ICTs since this technology could support many functional activities, such as marketing. Tourist products and destinations are better advertised via the internet rather than traditional means like brochures, advertising catalog. Furthermore, ICTs allow direct and interactive relationships between tourism organization and customers. But the most interesting perspective of ICT's application on marketing is that companies can build a customer profile and make personalized offering. Sales. Sales can be successfully accomplished without the need of any intermediate. For example, a customer is able to perform online booking without the intervention of a travel agent. There is also the possibility to use intelligent agents in some stages of the selling process, thus leading to increased overall productivity of the tourism organization by releasing human resource. Operation: management information system, enterprises, resources. Planning, customer relation management, CRM. Customer relation management, CRM. And other systems based on ICT can accelerate and facilitate information flow, including acquisition, storage, processing, and transfer of information concerning internal processes and tourism business environment. Human resource management, human resource management, HRM. Human resource management is a fact that increased personal mobility in tourism organization of seasonal demand, like hotels, travel agency, and generates higher cost of HRM. ICT enable online recruitment, training, and evaluation, reducing efforts, time, and cost required. Purchasing: best supplier opportunities all over the world can be detected via the internet, and buyer-seller transactions are easily accomplished in a completely electronic environment. So, what is the benefit of ICT for tourism? Marketing. So, tourist products and destinations are better advertised via the internet rather than traditional means like brochures, advertising catalogs. ICT allow direct and interactive relationship between tourist organization and customers. Also, companies can build a customer profile and make personalized offering. Benefits for sales. Sales can be successfully accomplished without the need of any intermediary. For example, a customer is able to perform online booking without the intervention of a travel agent. There is also the possibility to use intelligent agents in some stages of the selling processes, thus leading to increased overall productivity of the tourism organization by releasing human resource. Operation: management information systems, enterprises resource planning, customer relation management, CRM, and other systems based on ICT can accelerate and facilitate information flow, including acquisition, storage, processing, and transfer of information considering internal processes and tourist business environment. Human resource management. It's a fact that increased personal mobility in tourism organization of seasonal demand, hotels, travel agents, generates higher cost of human resource management, HRM. ICT enable online recruitment, training, and evaluation, reducing efforts, time, and cost required. Purchasing. Best supplier opportunities all over the world can be detected via the internet and buyer-seller. Transactions are easily accomplished in a completely electronic environment. Tourism business strategy and ICT. An interesting issue to deal with is what actually the internet and the other ICT mean for tourism organization. Is the use of the internet a competitive advantage for the tourism industry? Are the application of ICTs going to replace all conventional ways of doing business? And of course, the crucial question is whether to create separate internet strategies or integrate the internet into an overall strategy. The underlying forces of competition which determine the structure of an industry are the same irrespective of whether this industry belongs to the traditional or new economy. These forces are the intensity of rivalry among competitors, the barriers to entry for new competitors, the threat of substitute products or services, the bargaining power of suppliers, and the bargaining power of buyers. Let's try to explain very briefly how the internet influences the structure of tourism industry. In the market, the competition of tourism over the internet is much more intense. It is mainly a price competition instead of offering a product of better quality or differentiating the service package. Another argument that competition will continue to increase is that numerous non-tourism organizations are entering the sector and start to provide online services. The effect of internet on rivalry is strongly negative. Barriers to entry. The barriers for a new entry to e-tourism have been minimized since the technological obstacle as well as the necessary resources to start up online business, capital, personnel for example, are very limited compared to traditional tourism business. As more traditional companies turn to the online channel and more online companies enter the market, tourism organization will be exposed to increasing threats. The effect of the internet on barriers to entry is moderately negative. Threat of substitutes. It is nowadays easy, costless and not time consuming to find substitutes for any tourist business via the internet. Rooms to let instead of hotels, transportation by rail or ship instead of airlines. Even if we looked for substitutes for tourist products and services outside the tourism sector, we would be amazed by the many alternatives the internet provides. It is concluded that the effect of the internet on threat of substitute is moderately negative. Bargaining power of suppliers. Tourism organizations are capable of offering their products and services via the internet to more customers without depending upon any traditional intermediaries. This implies a better bargaining position of suppliers. However, suppliers will continue to work with online intermediaries, which lead to another kind of dependencies. The internet seems to have a slightly positive in parallel with a slightly negative effect on bargaining power of suppliers. Bargaining power of buyers, the direct relationships between customer and e-tourism organization have increased the bargaining power of buyers. Moreover, as customers become more familiar with the internet technology, their loyalty to specific service providers will decline. In combination with the low cost of switching a supplier over the internet, the bargaining power of buyers will also strengthen. Hence, the effect of the internet on bargaining power of buyers is strongly positive. Using the internet can really create multiple benefits for a tourism organization. To deal with this implication, we need to realize that ICTs, including the internet technology, are nothing else but complementary tools, which have to be integrated into an overall strategy. Indeed, ICTs do not guarantee profitability unless their adaptation is related to the company strategy. Concerning the adaptation of ICTs in small and medium-sized tourism enterprises, being the vast majority of tourism enterprises around the world, there of the most commonly cited obstacles are the inadequate and unreliable telecommunication infrastructure, the cost involved with adopting and using ICT, the lack of knowledge and skills. These are mainly referred to the external tourism business environment. Also, the third one could be confronted through intensive personal training on new technology. Based on the discussion so far, ICT do not constitute a competitive advantage, and they may even worsen the competitive position of tourism enterprises and the attractiveness of their industry. It is true that ICTs contribute to both sides of the general business equation, since they add to both revenue and cost streams. But not using ICTs is not an acceptable solution. ICT need to be incorporated into the tourism organization strategies, and their adaptation should be accompanied by the re-engineering of all business processes. According to Bohali's 1998, two strategic directions could be followed. Tourism organization could either offer differentiation value by designing high-quality personalized arrangements, which customers would be willing to pay a premium for, or they could be offer cost value by delivering less expensive products than competitors through standardization, high volume and consolidation. Bohalis also suggested a strategic framework demonstrating how ICT contribute to the tourist business strategy. Development, as well as all the possible interaction between tourism organization and customers. Analysis of the interaction among tourism organization, other organization, and customer. Tourism organization and customer, customizing tourist products and personalizing services. CRM is a rising area of e-business application in tourism. Enterprises are adopting CRM technology in order to shift their traditional marketing perspective towards developing relationship with the most profitable current and potential customers. CRM initiative enable enterprises to identify the individual need of their customer and match them with satisfying tourist product offering. Supporting mobile tourist services. Mobile services in the tourist domain aim to satisfy information requirement of tourists by providing them with a broad range of travel-related information. Mobile web may assist tourists mainly to find a destination information, but it could also be useful for booking information, transportation, and accommodation. Tourism organization customers share tourism information and operational data, customized tourist products, and personalized service. Tailor-made tourist product, elevation of user-generated content, other organization. Tourism organization and other organization sharing tourism information and operational data and interoperability in using information system were always the major challenge to achieve seamless information exchange between tourism organizations. Communication between the different organizations that would be involved in a collaborating effort in providing tourist product would require fast, efficient, and timely access to accurate data. To do so, they can capitalize on the concept of value-added communities as applied to the business world. Tailor-made tourist products. The internet can have a significant impact on do-it-yourself scenario of tourist business, individuals and companies seeking information about destination, accommodation, transportation, and trying to take advantage of the best opportunities have the tendency to combine different tourist products and configure their own arrangement. Following that, tourism organization, in order to respond to their customer requirement, need a wide range of local or even international support services, such as restaurant, entertainment, leisure, so their choices are easier to enter an alliance or develop a tourist business network, giving overall information and providing integrated products and services.